Okay, so can you introduce your background?
Yes. Well, my name is, what should I use? Atayang? Atayang is okay. All right. My name is Atayang, and I am half Japanese, half African American. Grew up in America. Then I've spent the last 2 years traveling through Asia, Japan, Vietnam, Korea, and Thailand. And during that time, I'm just spending a lot of time talking with people, meeting a lot of people, and trying to learn the culture and language, both Korea and Japan especially. So yeah, that's most of my background.
So you can speak Korean, English, and Japanese, right?
Yes, a little bit. I can speak a little bit, but I'm still trying to learn. It's very difficult for me, but mainly because my focus is just how should you say, essential communication. You know, being able to make friends, being able to travel. That's what's most important. So I'm not having gone to school for it. So, yeah.
Okay, so if you don't mind, can you introduce yourself in Korean and Japanese?
in Japanese. Okay. 아타영입니다. 미국에서 왔어요. What should I say? In Japanese, 私の名前はアタイです。アメリカ出身です。
Wow, so I was impressed. So your Korean is so much better than I thought it would be.
Oh, really? 감사합니다.
So actually, there are so many amazing places to visit in the world. So
Yes.
why did you choose Korea to explore among them?
I chose Korea mostly just my personal reasons of finding the Korean language so beautiful, and also I could see that Korean culture seemed to be in a very unique position right now, and just like very rich culture. And so I found it like, wow, it seemed really beautiful, and I definitely wanted to come to Korea. So I just started studying the language, started learning, and the more I learned the language and the culture, I just fell more and more in love with it. So yeah, that's why I went.
Thank you very much for loving Korea like that. Yeah. So the most moms, most mothers who gave birth and raised the children abroad are saying that Korea is the best.
Oh yes.
Still, our Korea is the #1 in danger of extinction in the world.
Right.
So actually, the last quarter, our birth rate was 0.6.
Wow.
Yeah, extremely low. Yeah. So, what do you think is the main reason for the lower birth rate?
Yes, the low birth rate. From what I can tell, having spent now it's close to 7 months, or actually almost 8 months in Korea, talking with people, going Seoul and Busan. We are talking about this, and I'm trying to learn more about it. But what I can tell is usually this is a problem. If you try to sum it up in one word, it's a problem of support. Yes, obviously there's an economic strain as well. It's people, you know, right now Korea is very competitive. Everything's moving very quickly. Jobs can feel less. What's the word? Like you're worried that you might lose your job a little bit more. You know, we're seeing around the world. I think we're seeing careers are disappearing. Career is like something you might work your whole entire life in one place. That is becoming less and less the norm. Actually, people are changing jobs a lot more, and so that's another type of support. That it's like, well, it's just not stable. I don't feel I have as much of a stable job, and so you know you lack that. Even in your workforce, even if you're making a lot of money, maybe you lack that stability in your job to know that, like, well, this is going to support me for the next 10 to 20 years. And so if you don't have that, and you don't have the family support, you know, and people in the city, it's, you know, there's so many people that we don't connect very easily with strangers, right? And I think Koreans as a whole tend to be more shy than Westerners, right? We already have that, but when you're in the city, it's even harder. It's like you just cannot talk to anybody because everyone's so busy. You don't want to disturb anybody. That's how we feel. And so, naturally, it's just the amount of friends we can make is very limited. It has to be our work or maybe a hobby we have, but it's just much harder. Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, the stress and then this financial support also is a big problem in USA, in your country too,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But the USA has a birth rate of 1.6 this year, but the lowest ever. So what do you think is the is the biggest difference between Korea and the USA?
Ah, yes, biggest difference. I probably would have to say the biggest difference is probably the amount of immigration. Probably immigration. America allows in so much immigration, but what you see with that is immigration is allowing in different cultures and different mindsets. So
Alright.
that's what causes a lot of these people who are coming from a economy that's worse off. They are used to culturally having more children. They're used to staying together as a family, very strong and close knit, more so than what you see in modern American households. So in some ways, they're an older generation, and almost it would feel that they're coming out into that culture to say, oh, we stay close together and we're going to have a lot of kids, and and we mix in our community and talk a lot with our people, and so they have that culture that's very close and it helps them. But that's what I think is a larger, it's immigration, but it's really if you're there, what you see is the cultural difference.
So as you know, Korea has been influenced by Confucian culture
Yes.
for a long time. So hierarchy and patriarchy are still remaining in our society. So we are really care about others' reputation and what other people say about us a lot, right? So in this system, so as a foreigner, so who loves Korea a lot,
Yes.
can you give us a tip to make a difference in this system?
Yes. Yeah. Well, for Korean people to make a difference. Yeah.
Because you can be very objective. Yeah.
Yes. I'm not entirely sure, we should, as the Westerners, when they come to Asia, I don't think they should impart their idea of you guys need to change. I think we need to have more grace and more time to really learn and understand the culture. But at the same time, I think what we see happening is the reason there's a strain or a difficulty now is that Western culture has already obviously moved into Asia, especially Korea. Western culture has moved in largely in Korea. Part of that is Christianity.
All right.
Christianity moved in, and so there's a lot of change that's already happening, right? It's not a new thing, but the conflict happens there, I think, because they see the Westerner, who obviously the Western person is very not bothered by the other person's opinion, right? It's all inside of them. All the truth or the lie is supposed to be within them, and so I think Asians who come from that Confucian background, they're trying to make sense of it, right? Do I choose that path of just like my own truth, like inside of me, or should I stay communal, right, and thinking about other people? Of course, I think the answer is somewhere in between. I think it's both. I think it's actually we have to learn how to both understand that we are a unique individual, that we're completely different than the people around us in our own viewpoint, in our own life, and truth and goodness those are good things to uphold. But at the same time, we are also interconnected to our community, and the more that we're able to express and practice both of those, it's better because we both can make friends and connect to the family and the community around us, while also being individuals, allow us to be creative people, to do our own thing, and not be afraid to break the status quo. So I think it's very difficult because we almost have to try and put two identities inside of ourselves.
Right.
But I think if we're able to do it, the world would be better for it.